Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to today's unseen video. This is where we round up all the big talking points from social media, and we're going to start with the WWE folder. Obviously today was all about Raw in Glasgow. Very little to no Scottish wrestlers on that card. Very surprising if you think that we've got these two, and we've also got Drew, Joe Hendry. Obviously we got the TNA partnership, Nikki Cross, although that was always unlikely. But, yeah, oh, look at this. Slagent A and Slagent P and Piper Niven with quite the black eye at the moment. You can see it just there. Look at that. So this is a recent image that's doing the rounds. Meet and greet with these two lucky fans and a bit of a nasty black eye there. So, little fuego, thank you. Appreciate it. Not only did we not get much Scottish presence on the Raw in Glasgow, but this was announced earlier today. The Natural Disasters going into the Hall of Fame. Very much deserved. Love both of these guys. Both deserve to go into the Hall of Fame. Christopher, thank you. But no video package on the Natural Disasters. Instead, we had Triple H and The Rock and a clip from their SummerSlam match when they were battling over the IC title. We had that as a way of promoting the Hall of Fame on this show. Very surprised we didn't get a Natural Disasters video package. They just appeared on the graphic and that was it. You know, as reported earlier today, Natural Disasters are going to go in as well. Like, just felt really disrespectful. You know, I really wanted something more than that for the Natural Disasters. But I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. More news here about Legends. So, an emotional story behind WWE's inclusion of Crush in Demolition's Legends deal. So, this is coming from PW Mania. Elite Pro Wrestling Forum, thank you. So, at the moment, Demolition are not announced for the Hall of Fame. They could go in this year. Maybe now, because of the Natural Disasters, more likely to be next year. But it seems like Crush could be a part of that. They have signed him to a Legends deal. And, yeah, there was rumors that they were looking at getting Demolition into the Hall of Fame. But with Natural Disasters being the tag team for this year, thinking Demolition will be next year. And thinking there's a good chance that Crush will go in as well. Obviously, there was 3 members of Demolition. And it seems like all 3 may be going in. So I like Crush. I mean, I like Crush even when he was doing the Kona Crush stuff, you know. He had quite a few different gimmicks and different runs. And yeah, I think he's someone that has earned his place in the Hall of Fame as well. So cool. Very good. Very good. So Elite Pro Wrestling Forum, they're saying, can't wait to see all 3 in the Hall of Fame. Right, Mitchell, shout out to you. So after Raw ended, we had Judgment Day around. Obviously, they closed the show, beating up Penta, beating up Bron Breakker. Well, out would come Punk and Cody and also Rey Mysterio. And this would lead to a 6-person tag match. So this was the dart match for Glasgow. And, yeah, I haven't seen any footage from it or anything. I'm sure probably the babyface is one, I would imagine. But, yeah, that's kind of what happened after the show went off air. Right, Arrows1, shout out to you. We do have some new merch, very similar to Cena's old merch. But here we got a bigger image of it. So, Wendy Lucho, thank you. Last real champion. So this makes me think that what he said in his promo, he'd kind of given a little bit of thought to, because they've put this design together quite quickly. It's not the hardest design to chuck together, though, to be honest. But this last real champion is something I think is going to be a bit of a theme as we kind of head into WrestleMania. We'll talk about the John Cena promo. Little bit of pushback on it because I think it was compelling and I think there were some good lines, but it did sort of feel like more of the same. But we'll get to that. Very interesting that we've had this merch, though. We got the Smackdown numbers. 1.459 is okay. It's okay. I don't know what the competition was like. I think WWE at this time of year would like to see it a bit higher than that, to be honest. There's obviously no football or anything. There's no Friday Night Football. And I don't even know what other sports are on at the moment. So I'm not sure what they're competing against. So I think they would like it to be a little bit higher than this. But obviously disruption because we're in Europe. And obviously it's a tape show in America, so that means the spoilers are out there. So are there people that are just reading what happened and skipping watching the show? Like that absolutely could be happening. So I don't know. Maybe they're happy with that at the moment, but I think they'd like to see that number increase as we get closer to WrestleMania. Okay, Dr. Chris Featherstone was just saying sources from within WWE, and I know what you're going to say. Dr. Chris Featherstone isn't got the best reputation, right, after what happened with Elimination Chamber, but let's just have a little read of what's being said. So, sources from within WWE have confirmed Jey will continue to be pushed as a babyface for the foreseeable future. Despite recent online backlash, he was second in merch in recent sold-out live events, and he wasn't even advertised to be on. WWE are very satisfied. I mean, we know he's over. You can look at the reactions when he comes out. You can see the reaction in the clips of the kids. You know, whenever those lists come out of top-selling merch, his name's normally up there. So we know he's over. We know that the vast majority of people are buying his merch and are on boards. But yeah, there is a very loud kind of anti-Jey sentiment on social media, right? Here's Corey, who says the IWC is a minority in the wrestling world. Jey Uso is insanely over. There's no backlash outside of Twitter, where some just don't enjoy him as being a wrestler, and that's okay. Not everyone's going to be a fan of every wrestler, and that's why wrestling is subjective. And I completely agree with that. I think that's about right. I think there are a lot of people that like Jey. I think there's a chunk of people that don't like Jey. I think you'll see more of the negativity on social media, but the numbers, the big picture numbers, suggest that Jey is someone that's worth getting behind, and that's what the company's doing. So we'll have to see kind of how that plays out for Jey and WWE at WrestleMania. Okay, Henry, thank you. So Drew McIntyre said something big is on the way with him and the final boss. Now, obviously, if it's going to be him joining up in that group, being the third member, along with Cena and The Rock, or fourth if you count Travis Scott, I don't think he would be teasing it here. So, I don't know. I don't quite know where this is going. Maybe it could be like a film project outside of WWE. Maybe The Rockers helped Drew get, you know, a part in a film, or perhaps Drew's going to be in a project with Drew. I don't know that this is going to result in him coming into this group. I just don't think he would allow for that information to leak out. You know, they'd want to probably keep that a surprise. But this is what he said, right?
Hinted the other day about something in the pipeline with The Rock. Could you give us a little exclusive on that, just for our podcast listeners?
I certainly can not. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be big. Yeah, I mean, I don't know when this comes out, but hopefully we'll have more information soon.
Nice.
Well, that sounds very exciting.
Really exciting.
The way he says it is, I don't know when this comes out, but hopefully we'll have more information soon. It does feel like a movie project or something along those lines. So I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. I'm not getting too carried away with that. So Henry, thank you, appreciate it. But right, let's go over to Raw, shall we? We're going to start with this bit here. I'm sure you noticed it. Everyone noticed it. There is Punk. I think did Punk even notice it? Here is Punk, and there we've got Finn and Dominik in the backgrounds, just having a little disagreement. And obviously a big story at the moment is kind of really based on that, about how Finn and Dom are not quite on the same page. And that would show itself during the show as well. Okay, so John Cena came out. He started the show, came down to the ring, had quite a bit to say. He said last week, I put a clueless kid on blast. His poor, pathetic face was everywhere. WWE posted it, and you all loved it. So there we go. As I said, I don't think that kid is a plant. There are people that think that kid was a plant. But I think if they're going to keep talking about it, they must have sorted him out. I would not be shocked if that same kid is wearing Cody merch at WrestleMania, you know? And actually Cody goes over to him after the match after he wins or something like that, you know? I don't know that Cody's winning at WrestleMania. In fact, John Cena, last time I saw, was firm favourite. But I'm just saying, if this story was to play that way, I could see it, right? So, yeah, he was going full Homelander, which I've never seen Homelander. So don't really get that reference, but... And I don't need to know. I also don't care. So there we go. Right, he said that. He also said, I'm going to ruin wrestling. Right? Why, Cena? Why? He's going to do it because he can. And because he broke up with us. And he hates us. And now he's going to ruin wrestling. John Cena said he's going to retire with the WWE title, which obviously made a lot of people think about CM Punk leaving the company with the belt all those years ago at Money in the Bank. I'll force you to forget the name of the fun-loving Ric Flair. You'll forever remember the name John Cena. Well, I think we'll remember that name anyway, to be honest with you. But he's threatening to erase Ric Flair from the history books, get that 17th title reign. He was also very upset about the whole spinner belt thing. He actually said, go back, Google negative comments about the spinner belts. You'll see that loads of people had lots of bad things to say about my greatest, I think he said his greatest idea in 2005 was introducing the spinner belt, right? WWE did exactly that. Hey, John, just told us to do this. Negative comments about the spinner belt. They actually did Google it. It was seen as an ugly eyesore, a cheap, tacky toy, or disrespectful to the legacy of the WWE Championship. People didn't like it at the time. I was not a fan of it at the time. I didn't hate on it, though, in the sense of, I feel probably the same way about that as I do about Jey Uso. It's not really for me. I could see that it was appealing to a younger audience, and it was the business kind of moving forwards. That's kind of how I felt about it. But, did I like it? No. No, I didn't rate it as a belt. It certainly was no winged eagle, right? So, I don't know. Some people thinking he's going to win that title now and then bring the spinner belt back. The ultimate heel move. One thing I will say, though, is because it did look like a toy and it did spin, they sold so many of the toy replicas of it, the plastic, $10, $15 versions of it. This thing made some serious money through the amount of replicas that it sold. CM Chunk, thank you. Appreciate it. Right, so he went off, basically. It was more of the same, and there is a bit of criticism doing the rounds that there was no mention of The Rock. We didn't get him and Cody going back and forth. It was really just an extension of last week's promo. So Cody Rhodes would come out, and he put his belt on the ground, and he said to John Cena, take that WWE Championship right now. But Cena just walked away. Cody was ready to throw down. And green shirt guy in the crowd, but it's not green shirt guy. It's a fake green shirt guy. But green shirt guy saw it, and he was like, does this count? And he was laughing. So there we go. We got someone cosplaying as green shirt guy. So little Fuego, shout out to you. Yeah, that's kind of cool that green shirt guy has commented on that. And that was during the Cena Cody segment. So Cena walked away. He didn't engage in a verbal back and forth with Cody, and I'm sure at some point he's going to say he didn't do it because he knows everyone wants to see it, and you get what you deserve, right? Empty-handed. That's how you'll walk out at WrestleMania, and that's how you'll walk out of WWE. That was Cody cutting a promo, saying a few words to John Cena. And then Cody actually tweeted this just after Raw, or just after their segment. Really cool looking image. All these people in the background and those two in the ring, face to face. That, though, the colour of the shirt is from last week, isn't it? That's not this week. That's not Glasgow. Because that was the colour of the shirt he was wearing this week. So, yeah, wrong picture. So, little Fuego, thank you. Okay, so that was the Cena promo, and it was shorter this week. As I said, more of the same. Still some nice lines in there. Still very compelling. But we didn't get any mention of why now. We didn't get any mention of, why has he joined up with The Rock? What does that even mean? There was no verbal back and forth between him and Cody. So I think it's one that we did a poll on it, and we asked people, what did you think about that? It just came out with a good rating. Didn't get great. Didn't get all time. Just came out with a good rating. Okay, then we went to our next match, and surprise, no Joe Hendry as the mystery partner. The mystery partner was actually Jimmy Uso, who, I suppose in a way it makes sense. If Jey needs a partner, he's probably going to turn to his brother first. That does make sense. But we were in Scotland, and he's trying to make it as a single star. He's trying to build towards being a singles world champion. For him to fall back on being in this tag team is, well, I suppose it's not the biggest surprise. He was in a tag match. He needed a partner. But yeah, I totally got what everyone was expecting, Joe Hendry. So the match would carry on. The Usos would pick up the win. Then we would get this moment right at the end where he slips. Gunther would attack afterwards, and this allowed Gunther to get the advantage. Of course, this is scripted. This moment is not an actual slip. It's not an actual botch. What I think last week's was. I think last week with the top rope was. And I think they've had a conversation to say, let's use it. Let's say that you did that because you're nervous. Let's say that you're starting to doubt yourself and that everything that Gunther's been doing has been having an effect. So let's have you do a little slip this week. Let's tie it in with the botch from last week. And let's use that as part of the story going forward. That absolutely feels like what they've decided to do. So Gunther taking the mick here. Look, whoop, whoop, whoop. So there we go, Gunther. Oh, God. She really went a cropper, didn't she? So there we go. That was Gunther reacting to that moment. Dean, shout out to you. I am the colour red. Thank you. So here, this slap, right? It's loud, man. Oh! Mate, that is such a good slap. Bro, this was the most disrespectful slap in WWE history. I mean, can I just remind you, this is Jey versus Gunther, and probably one of the most impactful moments in this feud involves Jimmy. Mate, this slap was so good. Oh! What's going through his head in this moment? Right now, he's just in full-on kill mode, isn't he? Kill mode has been engaged. I tell you, Jimmy, I was so shocked that he didn't absolutely destroy Jimmy after this. I thought he was going to chuck him all around this corridor. I was really shocked. So basically, there was a sit-down with Jimmy and Jey. He was like, what's going on, man? You know, struggled with the dive last week. You slip over this week. And Jay's like, I'm 3-0 against him. I can't win. I just don't think I can do it. It's getting to me. And Jimmy was like, yeah, this version of you can't win, but I know there's a version of you that can. He's like, I'm going to sort this. And so he went up to Gunther, and I think probably to try and show Jey, look, you can beat him. I've beat him, so you can do it. I mean, I don't think that's going to work. I think Jimmy's going to lose. Maybe that puts more doubt in Jay's mind, but well, at least we're doing something. Yeah, at least we're doing something. Chanman said American Netflix is getting a taste of the international feed with matches playing during commercials. It's a beautiful thing. I don't think that lasted throughout the whole show, though. I saw a lot of people saying, oh, the commercials are back now, but good that you got a taste, of what it's like over here in Europe. Kenny, for your thoughts? Yeah, this was great. I really like this. There has been a little bit of pushback. I mean, I don't know if it's real pushback or if it's just like AEW fans or really highly sensitive people going, some people were like, this is racist and all that sort of stuff. Like, honestly, I can't imagine you're surprised that those comments are out there. I did not look at this and go, wow, this is racist. I did not feel that way. I just thought this was a really fun vignette that kind of looked back on the backstory of a wrestler who, you know, is clearly not a wrestler that existed. And so we're having to kind of create all of this backstory for him. Everyone pointing out at the Gulf of America. Look, a lot of people pointing that out. No sign of Gulf of Mexico anywhere. Doesn't even say it in brackets or anything. Oh my God, they just said that El Grande Americano hails from the Gulf of America. I'm dead, says Kenny, for your thoughts. Nice and big as well. Look at that. No doubt as to what that says. So there we go. So, sadly, we needed to get El Grande Americano because Chad Gable was ill. Chad Gable couldn't compete. So, Chad Gable unable to compete. And so, Dragon Lee will face El Grande Americano instead. Right, but that was coming up later, right? So Lyra Valkyria took on Raquel. Match was okay, right? This was our second match after Usos versus A-Town Down Under. Lyra Valkyria retained the Intercontinental Championship against Raquel. After the match, though, she was jumped by Liv. Bayley would make the save, so Bayley would come down. Not a big shock here, because you might remember after last week's show, Lyra went up to Bayley and kind of said that she would love it would be an honor to face her. I don't know if this is WrestleMania. Maybe it is. I mean, it feels like the Roxanne Bailey feud has kind of just disappeared. Unless we're going to do this match in, say, a couple of weeks' time, and then Roxanne's going to get involved in that. But yeah, at the moment, the Bailey-Roxanne feud just seems to have completely been dropped. Right, during commercial break, the New Day appeared. They said they'd be walking out of WrestleMania as the World Tag Team Champions. Then we went to our next segment. So this saw Io making her way down, and she basically was like, I'm a fighting champion. I want to face Rhea and Bianca, right? Bianca came out, and she was like, whoa, I've earned my shot at this title. I do not want to share this stage. So, you know, Io was all for the triple threat. Bianca wasn't. Rhea Ripley would come down, and Adam Pearce had a solution. He was like, right, next week, Io versus Rhea, winner faces Bianca at WrestleMania, right? And then he did something really weird. He made Bianca special guest referee. Now, don't forget, this whole drama started because it was Io versus Rhea. Bianca was at ringside. She was a big distraction. And so really what we need to do is not have her a special guest referee. We need to have her completely out the way. She should be banned from ringside and just let these two have a proper match. Winner faces Bianca. Like, literally, the worst thing you can do is have Bianca anywhere near this match. That's the worst thing you can do. And he found a way of making it even worse than that. He made Bianca the special guest referee. Which is so stupid. So stupid. Because if Bianca counts like a 3 count, whoever is pinned is going to say it was fast even if it isn't. Or they're going to say that, like, you know, Bianca screwed them over. Like, there is no way either of these, whoever loses, is going to accept the result if Bianca is special guest referee. I mean, it is so dumb. This is so stupid. WWE Creative Humor said, we are really good at making this match overly complicated for no reason. I completely agree. I was fine with this solution. I was like, yeah, that works. I'm down for that. Do the rematch. Bianca, you stay out the way. Soon as it was announced she was special guest referee, I was like, what? This obviously turned into a big brawl. Bianca was getting booed. I think the reason for it is because people don't trust her after the Jade thing, to be honest. I think people don't trust her. That's kind of why I'm thinking she was getting a negative reaction. You know, you've got Naomi and Jade feuding. Bianca really should be there to try and sort that out. Instead, she's just left them to it. And instead, she's, you know, getting involved in this world title match instead. You know, Jade made a good point. Like, what effort have you made to try and sort this situation? Like, Bianca's done nothing. She's just washed her hands of it and walked away. So I think that was why she was getting that reaction. So that was the second folder. Let's go to the third folder. Backstage, Dominik still trying to get Penta for Judgment Day, which also doesn't make much sense. I do think that's a bit of a misstep with this story, because I don't think anyone thinks that Penta's going to accept this. I don't think anyone thinks that Penta's going to agree and then join the Judgment Day. I can't really see Penta in Judgment Day. So, I don't know. This one just felt like, I think you tried and picked the wrong person here, to be honest, to try and bring in. Didn't really think at any point he was going to say yes. This is where she gets told, look at her face. This is where she gets told she's going to be made special guest referee backstage. That is quite the intimidating stare, and that is quite the reaction. So, there we go. Hey, here is El Grande Americano, the man from the Gulf of America. El Grande Americano making his way down. This was pretty sick spot. Boom! Just got hurled in. I mean, he really flew. He got really hurled into the corner. Look at that. Really hurled into the corner. But it would be no good. Ankle lock applied, and it would be a win for El Grande Americano with the ankle lock. Chad Gable would be proud. And the reason why he was able to get it on is because the mask came off. The mask got removed. That is an unmasked Dragon Lee. I know. I mean, he was desperately trying to hide his face. I'm sure you could probably pause it at some point to get a decent look at his face if you really did so want. But I'm not going to do that because I respect wrestling. So this man really took off Dragon Lee's mask. So here, if we skip forward, look there, you can see. I'm not going to pause it, but there, look, I'm sure you could pause it and find a pretty decent look at his face. But I'm not going to do that. Respect. luchas. Right, so there we go. A win for El Grande Americano. There is fake green shirt guy. Elite Rocker said, I'm crying. Scotland has its own version of green shirt guy. That guy's done really well. He's done really well with that. So there we go. And here as well, life lesson, don't touch CM Punk's hair. So here, look, someone ruffles his hair and he's like, no, not the hair. Don't touch the hair. He's trying to like get it back. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. I work with children. So a very famous line there that CM Punk used when he was in AEW, and using it again here to describe Roman and Seth. He had a really good line, actually, where he was like, wasn't it like the tribal chief or the king of the diaper-wearing kids is Seth Rollins? I like some of his lines here, and some of the stuff that caught my attention. One of them was where he said about Paul Heyman, you know, and about the fact that Roman Reigns has realized that Paul Heyman might not only be his wise man. So again, just teasing a little something there between himself and Paul. And he also said, you know, he needs to read the contract. He announced there'll be a contract signing next week. He said he needs to read that contract really closely. Something that he's looking for in there. He wants to know if he's going to get what he wants. Now, I don't know if that means that the match main events night one, or if it's going to be that it's a number one contenders match. Probably it's going to be that he wants it to main event night one. That's always been what he's been talking about wanting to main event WrestleMania. So I think in the fine print, he's probably looking for that. Adam here thinks that it might be that it's a number one contenders match. Very interesting. He closed by saying, I brought you into this business. I cannot wait to be the man that takes you both out of it. Chanman said, CM Punk is a master on the microphone. People booed when he said the contract signing for the match would be on Smackdown. He goes on to say, why are you booing? Is it because it's not tonight? Well, me too. And then the crowd cheered. He knows how to get the fans to do exactly what he wants. It is true. I mean, the crowd were booing because they wanted Seth to come out. They wanted Roman to come out. They wanted to do this segment now. But the plan wasn't to do the segment now. So he's like, what, you wanted it tonight? Well, so did I. And, you know, that actually got the crowd kind of cheering again. So he is so good. So good. The most obvious disqualification in the history of disqualifications, said Crispy Wrestling. So there we go. There's the graphic. Io, Rhea, guest referee Bianca. As well as that, another face-to-face next week between Cody and John Cena. Hopefully that will push things forward a little bit more. We've also got Logan Paul calling out AJ Styles, and Jimmy Uso takes on Gunther. RIP to this guy, says it's Bryn again. So here, that dude's coming up. Oh, no. Oh. Here we go. Fist bump. No. Oh, mate. It'll be all right. So it's Bryn again. Thank you. So Penta came out. Penta, main event in Raw. Weren't people talking trash just a few weeks ago because he was on main events? That people were. But yeah, here he is in the main event of Raw. So Bron Breakker got the victory over Penta by DQ after Dominik Mysterio attacked Bron Breakker. So Penta was like, what? What's going on? Dominik tried to recruit Penta, but Penta rejected him. And as a result, he got laid out by a chair. And this is how Raw came to a close. Show ends with Judgment Day standing tall. A fatal four-way is looking likely now, said Roman Reigns, SCN. I don't know if it's a fatal four-way or if it's going to be a ladder match, but certainly this feels like a multi-man match is coming for the IC title. Ref Daff said, yo, sis, if you need some ref tips, I got you. So that was Daff to Bianca Belair. So Dark Phoenix T, thank you, my friends. Okay, let's go over to Raw. Did we miss this folder? Oh, no, we did that folder. And we did WWE, didn't we, as well? So I think it is just fun and bits and bobs. So Never Change, Big Jim. So this is from like a house show. There's Big Jim like, I'm trying to push. He's giving up. He's giving up. He was trying to push Braun back there. Like, we can do this. We can move him. Yeah, no, it's not happening. Yeah, forget that. Forget that. Claire, thank you. Wrestle Night, shout out to you. I don't know what this was from, but Liv was here. Raquel, too. We got pictures. We got good Daddy Dom picture, actually. Women's Tag Team Champs. We got the sun in the sky. We got clouds. A heart over here. So, I mean, that's quite a piece, isn't it? With Liv and Raquel and drawings and wow. So there we go. Larry, shout out to you. The limited edition WrestleMania 41 Golden Championship belt with a price tag of $850 has sold out. Mate, some of you out there are doing really well at life, doing way better than me. So, wow. So, Larry, thank you. Oh, yeah, if your dreams don't scare the shiz out of you, you need bigger dreams. So we found out that it's going to be CM Punk that's going to be on the very first Stephanie's Places. Should be really good. And he looks pretty shattered after a match. And Stephanie's just like, do you want to do this another time, this little chat? He's like, no, let's talk now. And so, yeah, this is where he says, if your dreams don't scare the shiz out of you, you need bigger dreams. And at the end of this, he's like, should we have a sweaty hug? And Steph was like, we always used to do this back in the day. You always used to do this to me.
You give us all a lot to be inspired by. Thank you so much.
What's the out on this? Are you gonna hug me?
I'm gonna hug you again. All right, big sweaty hug. He loves to do this. He used to do this all the time.
I love doing this.
He loves to give me the gross sweaty hug.
Now I'm
wearing Punk.
No.
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go. This is going to be so fascinating. I think it's going to be must watch. Right, V said, this got me. So here, look, we've got this person. This was me as a kid, finally letting the pillow win. Yeah, man, I took quite a lot of L's to the Brawling Buddies back in the day. So, yeah, I can sympathize with this. Oh, man, that poor dog's there as well. But, yeah, me as a kid. Oh, I'd never do it with an animal around like that, though. No, that's amateur hour. Vic, thank you. Right, Alexa is actually so insane. How did she not flinch? So here, look, and then it pops up, and it's true, actually, she does not flinch at all, right? So that from Scorched Bliss. And here, Alexa responded, plenty of practice. Before this moment, I flinched every time. So that's a little update from Alexa. She's like, yeah, I did have to practice this so that I didn't, like, jump. So I thought that was pretty fun. Kyle, shout out to you. El Grande Americano is Chad Gable. So someone has changed Chad Gable's Wikipedia and they've added El Grande Americano to that. So there we go. I mean, anyone can change this, so it's not confirmed. But yeah, if I'm Chad, I've definitely got some questions about this. I've also got questions as to why I had that name in the first place. Right, here, Jade Cargill. She said, this girl, Naomi, is obsessed. Naomi responded, obsessed with beating your grey-headed ass. Grey-headed. I love that. I love that. It's more silver, I think, but let's go with grey. I do, so why not? Right, Hulk Hogan got heavily booed in the UK at the Sweet Chin Disco event that was hosted by Mark Henry and Joe Hendry. Check this out. So they're playing Real American. Right, there's Real American. Mark Henry's going to say something now, though. So there we go, and then they cut to a different track. So Mark Henry making his feelings known as to how he feels about Hulk Hogan, but it's a long way back in it for the Hulkster. Nearly 1 million views on this. Sammy has said, this world sickens me. I think this is in relation to, obviously, what's going on with Israel and Gaza and Palestine, you know, and all of that. I think it's commentary on that, maybe what's going on in Turkey and everything. I don't think this is any connection to what's going on with Raw or anything. This is really sad as well. I actually don't know the ins and outs of this, so I suppose I shouldn't really comment, but it's hard to not feel sympathy for Cain Velasquez here. So, Christopher, thank you. So, former WWE and UFC star, I mean, he only wrestled once in Saudi Arabia against Brock, right? So, calling him a former WWE star is accurate, but A bit of a leap. Better known for his runs, obviously, in UFC. So he's been sentenced to 5 years in prison. He was arrested in 2022 for attempted murder after shooting at a man that he thought had molested his 4-year-old son. So, I mean, the reasons as to why he did it, I think everyone would be able to relate with. But I just don't know the details of the case, to be honest. I mean, some people might say no, he does deserve some form of punishment here. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a really sad situation. I know there's a lot of upset and pain in the UFC community over this. I think the wrestling community largely don't know him, to be honest. A lot of WWE fans quite young don't watch UFC, probably may not have even seen his match that he had in WWE, you know, but very sad, very sad news. Johnny, shout out to you. So there's an image here of Julia and Kyrie and Asuka, and there's I think is that Julia delivering an elbow. So I don't quite understand what this is. I mean, it probably is teasing that they're like training together, but I don't really get much more than that, and I don't even know that it's that. But here, look, it means they're training at the Performance Center, right? It means that we'll see them soon, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, if they're training to get, all three are out at the moment. I mean, if they're training together and everything, then that's good news. Hopefully means we should see them all back soon. But yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it. Okay, let's go community. So Miss Clown, shout out to you. Got a like. There's like a board game, a wrestling board game that you can pick up, which looks kind of fun. And I retweeted that, and Carrying Cross left a like on Miss Clown's post. So congrats, my friends. Oh, Wrestle with Andy. Wrestle with Andy was actually at the Glasgow Raw. Flipping took this along. So I didn't spot it, right, in the crowds. But that was doing the rounds at WWE RAW today. So he better not have lost this. He better not have lost this or done anything untoward with this. But a big thank you to Wrestle with Andy, a fantastic YouTuber, and I'm sure many of you watch his channel anyway, and if not, you should. So a big thank you for all the support, my friends. And I would say that's actually not a bad image of me, all things considered. You could have got a lot worse, so I really appreciate that. Jill, shout out to you. So here, look, ready for Cody. Very good. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you both had a great time. I think there was quite a few people in our community that went along. So, yeah, really cool. Look at that. Signed weight belt and everything. It looks awesome. So good. Nico said, I was going through some old stuff and I found some old wrestling figures. I figured I would set it up like I did when I was a kid. I lost almost everything in a fire, but this is what's left, and it brings me back to my childhood. Some of this is amazing. Look at some of these bits. Look at this. Look at that. What an amazing entranceway that is. Isn't that amazing? With the fist and that is so good. That is so good. And look at that cage as well. And there's the old Jax figures. This is obviously before Mattel. That's what the figures look like when they're on that entranceway. But yeah, that's really good. I never had any Jax stuff, to be honest with you. I was kind of a bit before that with like the Hasbros and whatever. But God, some of that is amazing. Look at these as well. Still boxed and everything. $7.99 from KB Toys. Rob Van Dam. A limited edition as well, out of 21,000. We got a bite. I don't know whose bite that was. Was that Taker's maybe? And commentary table stuff as well. So very cool. Lots of blasts from the past there. I'm sure there's many people that had those when they were younger as well. And Angie, shout out to you here. We've got, for the community folder, 2 of my little nightmares enjoying the show and getting ready for the show. I think they were about to yeet at the start there as well as they were enjoying Raw tonight. So Angie and the little nightmares, shout out to you guys. Right, and there we go. Let's get to thanks and runaway. So Real Wrestling Fan, Vintage T tagging me in this Alexa Bliss message. Larry, Christopher tagged me in the Stephanie's Places. We Are the Woe Movement. I think We Are the Woe Movement was in Glasgow for this as well. The view amazes me. This picture just doesn't do it justice. Well, there we go. I said so many community members over at the show in Glasgow, so hope you had a great time, my friend. Brilliant view. Looked awesome. Our Wrestling Podcast, Chris, CM Chunk, Wild Child Billy, Bradley, Christopher, Sweet Chin Wrestling, TJF 1983, Patrick Smith, Tyler Hayes, Prain User Sports, it's Kaz 81, barging. That's the second time that it's Kaz has done that in recent weeks. So that is a real attitude problem that we've got showing now, to be honest, from It's Kaz there. So something to keep an eye on there, but disappointing that, buds. Phantom 67, Wrestling's biggest fan, King Yeet Newsletter, Raymond, Las Vegas Matt, Babs the Barbarian, Kelly the Wise Lady, Claire Webb, and Big Bam. Big shout out to all of you guys. Really appreciate the support. A big thank you to everyone that joined us live for Raw. I know there's disruption. I know a lot of our friends in America aren't able to join at the moment. We'll be back to normal soon enough. I don't know if next week's our final one in Europe for Raw, but I think it might be. And then we're back to America the week after that. So, yeah, we are coming towards the end of this European tour. And so, yeah, just a big thank you to everyone that joined us live, everyone that continues to support these unseen videos. It really is appreciated. I hope you continue to enjoy them. And I will see you again next time. Bye for now.